Man, what are the biggest green flag in a girl? It's a green flag when she says she's into me. I can't always tell otherwise. There's this girl at work I'm kinda new still who is always standing too close to me, asking about where I've worked, what I'm doing on my weekend, if I'll walk her home. She's asking me to teach her Spanish and she brings me snacks from home. She's got a partner. Completely not interested. I will never make the first move, I can promise you that. Simply no way to know if someone is interested and I'm not willing to fuck up my reputation like that. Self-awareness, honesty and good communication, plus conscientiousness, plus not putting others down intentionally irrespective of who they are. Of course this applies to everyone. Commenting as someone who recently found an amazing person after a long time of not being treated well. When they do nice things for you because it's an investment in the shared happiness of the relationship, not self-serving, and it isn't with the intent of expecting something in return. I remember at university in South Africa, a girl and I had flirted and we eventually kissed after a couple of weeks of flirting. I remember it was a Thursday night because she went home the next day to visit her family. And I remember thinking, what unlucky timing when you're young and eventually kiss the person you're keen for. When they leave straight away it sucks, even if just for a short while. Anyway, when she came back, she messaged asking if she could come say hi at my digs. She popped by quickly and just said she brought me several sticks of biltong from her farm that her dad made, and I just remember thinking that was the nicest thing ever. Like we weren't dating, we weren't serious, and she didn't need to. She was just genuinely a wholesome, really sweet person who thought of others. Such a green flag. Several years later, we're still friends. We moved to different cities after varsity, but I always just remember her as the coolest person for those little things she did. Intelligence, emotional intelligence, empathy. 3 phrases that describe my wife. I'm a lucky asshole. Letting you know immediately when something you unknowingly did bothers them. She doesn't punish vulnerability. This might just be me as a 31-year-old talking. 10 years ago, 20-something me would have said things like creativity, communication skills, or maybe confidence and empathy. And these are all still very nice traits, don't get me wrong. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate strong women who are able to ultimately stand on their own first and foremost. At this age, we've all had our share of bad adult breakups, emotional pain and traumas. It's all about whether you're able to still stand up and fight at the end of the day, even if it's little by little. Good listening and communication skills, being supportive. Independence. She doesn't require you to be around here to escort her to everything she does. She has her own hobbies and interests but is happy to share them, but never pushes them onto you. US versus the problem mentality ... aka, instead of blaming you or herself for issues that inevitably will arise, she communicates with you in a way that focuses on what the issue is and how you can work together to solve it. Yup, this is huge. To me, this is also the key difference between a good work environment versus a bad one. Does your supervisor blame you for something when things go wrong, or do they instead figure out how to fix the problem and prevent it from happening again? This, absolutely this, actually talking about what she wants and communication, rather than mind games, manipulation, gaslighting, coercing, or using things as punishment. When she doesn't even listen to your reasons, or at least make an attempt to understand your side of anything, and instead she takes it personally like you killed her cat or something, believing in her own opinions and feelings instead of at least trying to see both sides of the relationship. Also, when she doesn't let go of anything ever. If you get into an argument and all you're trying to do is just get her to at least understand your side of something, and she brings up past situations or has a predetermined view of the situation simply because it's you that she's talking to, holding a grudge for no reason. Sometimes we just want to be understood, when my goal is to simply get her to understand my side of things, while her parameters for winning an argument is to prove me wrong based on what she believes or think is right. Then there's discourse. It's exhausting when the person you love doesn't at least make an effort to change or accept you and instead blames you, even if she doesn't outright say it. Is communication and acceptance so hard? Is it really that hard to just accept that people have different views, instead of denying everything and deciding what's right and ignoring how the other person feels? Emotional intelligence. That will apply for men as well. Anyone who takes the time to wonder why they feel a certain way versus acting on it out of instinct is a gift. I've never been in a relationship before like this in my life. We can talk anything out peacefully. No arguments in years. No insults or hurt feelings. Emotional intelligence is the key. Straight up kindness. I met my wife 11 years ago and fell in love pretty quickly. She is the kindest person I have ever met. Doesn't matter the situation, she approaches all of them with a serenity that I have never been able to match. Every dog gets love. Every baby gets ogled at. You need some help, she is there with work boots on, homeless. She keeps snacks and cash on hand to give out. I'm having a bad day. She will go above and beyond to make sure I know that I am loved. Fighting or approaching conflict in a healthy manner. During one of my early fights with my GF now wife of 15 years, I was surprised that even though she was still mad, she clearly said, "I'm upset when you did X," because of something in her past. I know that past event is not your fault, but I'm still feeling some kind of way. We should talk later after I've processed a bit. Way different than my past relationship. No silent treatment, no hiding emotions and exploding later, firm about feelings while taking accountability, honest apologies. It's great. We still have conflicts and even yell from time to time, but they are productive in the end. Edit. Thanks for gold. Sense of humor. Though many say this and mean laughing at my jokes, but I want to be laughing at her jokes and quick wit. She asks questions about you to genuinely understand who you are as a person, not just what you do for work and other surface level topics. Just want to add on to the typical green flags here. She respects your hobbies and interests. Does not have to be into them herself, but knows they are important to you. I'm in my late 40s and my wife is cool with my weekly D&D sessions with the homies and late night gaming sessions. Unfortunately, not all are in the same boat. Thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness goes hand in hand with a lot of traits. My girlfriend is the most thoughtful partner I've ever had. I missed out on a job at my dream company and she made me a feeling blue package full of blue snacks I like with a sweet card. I'll have a bad day, she surprised me with a dessert or a drink I like or something like that. She threw me my first surprise birthday party at an escape room with my friends because she knows I love them. When a partner takes time to genuinely think about you and the things you like, dislike and thinks about things from your perspective, it's about the greenest flag I can think of. Someone who actually is okay with their man being emotionally honest and open. A lot of women say they want that, but what they really want is a guy who'll call things cute and shed a single manly tear at Titanic, but will say, well, that's embarrassing if he actually cries over childhood trauma or something. If you're mature and healthy enough to realize emotional honesty comes with awkward and difficult things that you probably don't want to deal with, but will deal with anyway, then that's a massive green flag. This one might be a bit odd, but when I met my now wife, the love and kindness my Phil showed me really stood out. The very first time I met him, we were all staying in a cabin. He offered my wife and IGF at the time the bedroom and said he'd take the couch. IDKY, but I think about that moment often and now. I'm as close with my Phil as I am my own dad. Seeing how her family immediately treated me was reflective of how she would treat me, and I'm happy to report we've been married for 6 years and are going strong. They all do silly things with you just because you like them, and truly engage in the activity. I knew I was going to marry my husband the night we got back from a date, maybe a month or two into our relationship, and there was a raccoon in the dumpster behind my apartment. I made him sit in the car with me and watch the raccoon because I think they're super cute, and instead of rolling his eyes or making fun of me, he settled back in his seat, got comfortable, and had a whole conversation with me about raccoons. We both came up with names for the one in the dumpster, and his name was the best one, Ranger Rick. I went inside and thought to myself, yep, any guy who will go along with my crazy and hang out for an hour in my car to watch a dumpster diving raccoon is a keeper. We've been married 5 years and I have no regrets. Obviously I married a man, but the same green flags apply to women and be persons, lol. There are a couple in my opinion. Respect is a big one. I'm not dating anyone shallow, abusive, or disrespectful to other people. It's a big indicator of something flawed in their personality. The biggest one for me though, and this is gonna sound weird, is when they text you back after the date ends. This isn't to say the guy shouldn't text back either, but seeing it from the other perspective really enforces the belief that they're interested in seeing you again. She shows a genuine interest in something I'm passionate about. For example, my cousin's friend was over, and she was asking about football, And she's a Minnesota fan, bless her heart, and she understood players on the team and general a fair bit more than the average person, but she wanted to know more. So she was asking about other players, alignments, where everyone goes when lining up, etc. We're at the beach and so we go and throw the football around, and she's asking about how to throw it properly. I'm explaining it. She's getting better at throwing very quickly, and I'm gonna be honest, she was already attractive, but it might have been one of the sexiest thing a woman has ever done without being sexy.